संन्यासाश्रमधर्मविधात्रीं ब्रह्मज्ञानसुधारसदात्रीं सद्गुरुरूपधरां सर्वज्ञाम् अमृतानन्दमयीं प्रणमामि। स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। ब्रह्मचर्यव्रती दण्डी सर्ववेदान्तपण्डितः श्रीमद्विवेकयोगी मां प्रचोदयतु सर्वदा। अपारसच्चित्सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। मालासुधाकुम्भविबोधमुद्रा विद्याविराजत्करवारिजाताम् अपारकारुण्यसुधाम्बुराशिं श्रीशारदाम्बां प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्। जय जय शङ्कर हर हर शङ्कर, जय जय शङ्कर हर हर शङ्कर, जय जय शङ्कर हर हर शङ्कर, जय जय शङ्कर हर हर शङ्कर। Om Namah Shivaya. Today is Guruvayur Ekadashi, popularly known as Gita Jayanti all over the world and celebrated as a day of wisdom and renunciation. Especially for Hindus, this day marks the very auspicious moment of Bhagavan Shri Krishna imparting the divine nectar of wisdom to the chosen disciple Arjuna. And as you know, that Bhagavad Gita is a text that has got international popularity as a text of diplomacy, as a text of administration, as a text of management, as a treatise of divine knowledge. But all these apart, Gita has a historical importance as far as Indians are concerned. I have seen many scholars in India speaking about Gita, speaking on the Gita, giving commentaries on the Gita, without taking into consideration the most important factor that lies as a bedrock to the historical context of Gita, that is the historicity of the treatise. I have heard and listened and I have read books written even by great scholars who completely separated Gita from its historical context. Separating Gita from its historical context would make it a very difficult text to understand. Every text, every religious text, whether it be Bible or the Quran or the Injil, whatever text that there is, it must be read with the historical context. If you don't read the Gita with its historical context, which is depicted completely in the Namobharatheeyam, the great epic, one of the great epics, you would go astray in the bewilderment of Vyasa's vernacular. Vyasa's choice of words are so difficult to perceive. So many people say that I have learned the Gita, I am attending a class of Bhagavad Gita, I am attending a lesson of Bhagavad Gita every Sunday. My son is learning Bhagavad Gita, my daughter is learning Bhagavad Gita. But when I question them, when I go to them and I question them, I understand that there is no historicity involved in their learning, especially when you learn something out of epic. You must know the historicity, you must know the historical context. If you miss the historical context, what happens is that you miss the value, you miss the cream and crux of what Bhagavad Gita stands for. It's important to know. Once you start learning the Mahabharata, not reading, epic has a lot of hidden messages. And what is an epic? In Sanskrit, an epic is called itihasa or itihasam. So many people give their own interpretations of the word itihasa. Some say itihasa means somebody has laughed saying so. Some people say that itihasa means thus it happened. All these are true, but not to the historical context of the entire text. Itihasam or itihasa actually means, itihasa is the historical upadesha, instruction of the king's lineage. From the first king to the next king to the next king, the lineage passes down the line a secret code of conduct, a secret code of living, a secret art of living. And that is called itihasam. That secret code is called itihasam. That is Raja Dharmopadesha. It is a message or instruction or upadesha given to a Raja, a king. A newly chosen king should learn Raja Dharma. So itihasa is parampara prapta Raja Dharmopadesha. Itihasa means that message passed on to a king from his ancestors down the lineage to the last person. So in this case, Mahabharata depicts the story or history of a family, a conflict within the family. It has psychology in it, it is history of Hindus, it is the most unfathomable ocean of wisdom, especially when the thread of Bhagavad Gita is woven inside it by the great Vyasacharya, who is a master of words. That is why it is said, Vyasocchishtam jagat sarvam. The entire world is Vyasa's leftover. Vyasa has used maximum similes, metaphors, maximum examples to depict human life in all its facets. So it is called Vyasocchishtam jagat sarvam. Vyasa has touched and tasted and tested every aspect of life. That is why it is said Vyasocchishtam jagat sarvam. The entire world is but a leftover of Vyasa's feast. And what is Vyasa's feast? Vyasa's feast is the Mahabharata, the history behind the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. Most people, when they try to learn the Bhagavad Gita, they just start reading from Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gradhitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim. Very famous dhyana sloka invocation written by sage Madhusudana Saraswati, who says that Bhagavad Gita is verily a mother. Amba Tvam Anusandadhami. O Divine Mother, we follow your footprints for us to cross the ocean of transmigration. What is transmigration? Birth, death, again birth and death, and it is a cycle. It's a process, a never-ending process until and unless a man gains the gist of life, which is the center of his life. Aham Atma Gudakesha. I am the Atma, I am the center, O Arjuna, of every living being. Aham Adishya Madhyancha. I am the beginning of creation. I am the middle of creation. I preserve this creation. And I am the end. I am the Kalagni of the creation. Aham Adishya Madhyancha Bhutanam Anta Evacha. I am the end of every creature. I am Kalagni-Rudra. I am Brahma as the creator. I am Vishnu as the protector, preserver. I am Rudra as the destroyer. Therefore, I am called God. G for generator, O for ordainer, D for destroyer. So Gita's message should not be learned separating it from the original mother. The umbilical cord is Mahabharata. If Mahabharata's historical context is cut off, Gita would become a quite perplexing text for many. That is the point behind. Some people might argue that Gita teaches violence. Gita teaches violence, some people say. That is because they do not know anything about the historicity, the historical context of every character in the Mahabharata. So the secret key to Mahabharata, to the Bhagavad Gita, lies in the bedrock of Mahabharata. Why should I say this now? Because so many people are now teaching Bhagavad Gita without having any understanding of the historicity or the background of each verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Just take an example. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsava. The beginning, the opening verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Dharma is the word used by Vyasacharya. Dharma, what does dharma mean? I have thought about this so many times. I have even read the great commentary by Acharya Shankara. I have read the commentary of Madhvacharya. I have read the commentary of Sri Ramanujacharya. I have read the commentary of Abhinavaguptacharya and so many others, even modern commentators. Adi Shankaracharya gives the succinct to the word. That is why he's got Padavakya Pramana. He is a Padavakya Pramanika. He is an authority of word, its root, its historical context. He uses every word with a very heavy weight of its historicity. Acharya Shankara knows exactly how to use words, just as Veda Vyasacharya. The word dharma is defined by Adi Shankaracharya as Jagata sthiti karanam praninam sakshad abhyudaya nishreyasa hetu yah sa dharma. Dharma sustains the world. Jagata sthiti karanam praninam sakshad abhyudaya nishreyasa hetu. Every living creature needs food, water, shelter, dress, security, happiness, everything. All these are material prosperity. Health, wealth, water, food, life sustenance, everything is given by dharma. That is called abhyudaya. The word abhyudaya means material prosperity, well-being. And the next word is nishreyasa. Nishreyasa means complete annihilation of sorrow. Complete annihilation of sorrow. If somebody transcends the idea of sorrow, he has to transcend first the ajnana that he is a body and he is attached to this person and that person and to this world. So the key to happiness is destruction of ajnana. That is called complete annihilation of sorrow. Sampurna dukkha nivritti. In the vernacular, in the vocabulary of the Vedanta Shastra, it is called Sampurna dukkha nivritti. Complete annihilation, total annihilation of sorrow is called moksha or mukti. So many people have the misconception that when I get moksha, I get a bulb lit here. All the time, 24 hours, a bulb is lit here. I can't even sleep. What do I become? I become an animal with a light. I have witnessed a funny incident. Once I was sitting near my master, Sadguru Shri Mata Amritanandamayi Devi. One young man came to her and said that, Amma, I am doing this particular kriya, yoga kriya, Shvasana kriya. Amma said, good, good, very good it is, good. Then again the boy said, Amma, now the problem is that I cannot sleep properly because the moment I close my eyes, I see a bright light shining on my forehead. Sometimes it changes light into blue light, sometimes it is red light, sometimes it is white light, but bright indeed. What should I do? Do you think that I am enlightened? The boy asks, Amma, do you think that I am enlightened? So many yoga masters give the definition that when you see the light here, you are enlightened. It is not so. In the most authentic Shastra India has ever produced, Vedanta Shastra, it is said that complete annihilation alone is moksha. If you are sada prasanna, sada prashanta, if you are always happy, whatever be the context around you, whether it be a battlefield, just take the example of Krishna. Krishna, our Lord, was born in a jail. His mother and father, his parents were incarcerated. He was born into the dark room in the stone walls, inside the stone walls of a jail. What a nasty place to take birth. Does any one of us, want to take birth in a jail? Nobody wants to take birth in a jail. But our Lord, our Savior, our Master, Krishna, took birth in a jail. And was he unhappy? Was he sad about it? Did he tell Parameshwara, oh Parameshwara, you too forsook me. You too left me in this dark room. Was he sorrowful? Was Krishna sorrowful? Was Krishna complaining about his plight? No. Krishna was not complaining. Krishna doesn't know what is complaint. A complaint-free master, a complaint-free God is Krishna. Did Krishna complain to his mother, Mother, why should I take birth in this nasty place? I am surrounded by darkness, guards. I am kept in the cave. Didn't complain. Krishna didn't complain. Krishna was all happiness. Krishna was, what could I say? Krishna was a ball of joy. Krishna was a ball of joy. Krishna was, in kids' parlance, I would say, Krishna was all ice cream, all milk, all chocolate. Krishna was so sweet. That's what I said. It is important to choose your God. If you choose the wrong God, the God himself is sad. That's what I said. It's important to know this. Krishna was happy even inside the jail. Krishna was happy when hundreds of hurdles, hundreds of tests, hundreds of enemies chased him all his life, tried to kill him at every corner of his life. Even as a child, Putana came to feed him, breastfeed him and kill him. He liked it. He drank it. He drank her life too. Krishna killed her by accepting her. Accept the challenge, you will kill the challenge. The message of Krishna's life is accept the challenge, whatever it is, however great it is. Accept the challenge, take the bull by its horns, but don't forget to smile. Krishna accepted every challenge with a beautiful, enchanting, bewitching smile on his face. That makes Krishna a very, very acceptable, lovable God. Back to the story, the boy was advised by the Divine Mother, Amma. Amma said, son, don't think that this is enlightenment. This might be some disease. You must go and consult a doctor now. That was her advice. So many people are bound by the idea that some physical experiences a spiritual experience. A physical experience cannot be a spiritual experience. A physical experience is a physical experience. A spiritual experience is a spiritual experience. What is a physical? Some people go to yoga classes, and nowadays it's a fashion to go to yoga classes, attend the yoga classes. Why do you go to the yoga classes? I am obese and I want to cut down my weight. I want to become trimmed and I want to look very good. In the eyes of others, I want to get a decent status. So that I am going to yoga classes. Why should you go to yoga classes? I am going to yoga classes because I heard that I can read others' minds. I should know the password of my wife's phone. So you have material aims and you are using yoga for material aims. And now what is the use of it? It is like using a boat for a walk. A boat is used in a different context on waters. You are using it for daily morning walk. Of course, you will get muscles by pushing it, but it is not the place it should be there. The boat should sail on waters. Likewise, yoga's aim is not to cut down your weight or to make you read others' minds and take their secrets. Yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. Atha yoga anushasanam yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is complete annihilation of all mental fluctuations. What to speak of all your n number of desires. Yoga is complete annihilation of the fluctuations of mind. Yes. Now, the historical context of the Bhagavad Gita lies in the Mahabharata. I have listened to the speeches and discourses and written texts of even sannyasins who forget to mention the historicity of each verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. What is the fight over? The fight is over power. It was a power fight. Arjuna and Pandavas wanted at least a home to live in the country. Duryodhana did not give it, declined the request, so quite harshly. Krishna had no other go. The war started. Now you see, most of the Upanishadic teachings, Vedic teachings happen in the forest fastnesses, in the quiet, tranquil surrounding of a hillock, in the Himalayas, or in the woods, in the dark woods, early morning hours, wee hours of the day, near a lake or near a river, cold climate. The master and the disciple sits and chants, Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanahu Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Oh, that was the teaching of the Upanishadic Lord. And why did Lord Vyasa chose this particular war front, war field, a battlefield, which is not a conducive place for Upadesha? Now there is the biggest mistake. I'm unlocking a secret to you, friends. The Bhagavad Gita was not instructed to Arjuna. And you might be wondering, hey, you are wrong, Mr. Vidyasagar, Gurumurthy. You are twisting the facts of the Mahabharata and the Gita. You are saying that Krishna did not advise Arjuna. Why do you say this? Because I have spent the midnight oil, I have burned the midnight oil reading the Vedas, reading the Mahabharata, reading the Upanishads. I know that the Mahabharata clearly states in the Anugita Parva, Arjuna, after the victory of the battle, meets Krishna and asks him, Krishna, you gave me some valid points in the war front. I don't remember a word of it right now. Can you just repeat the message? Krishna was furious. Krishna said, This is exactly the same thing Heraclitus said. Heraclitus said, no man ever steps in the same river twice. For it is not the same river, and he is not the same man. What a beautiful message by Heraclitus. Heraclitus said, no man ever steps into the same river twice, for it is not the same river, and he is not the same man. I'm declining a call in between. So this is important for you. You should know this. Krishna then furiously tells Arjuna, Arjuna, that context has gone. Bygone is bygone. I am not the same Krishna, and you are not the same Arjuna. If I told you were diligent enough to take the nectar of my words, you wouldn't have complained like this. You were not careful. You could not keep the message in your heart. The power to keep the message of the Master is called Dharana Shakti. Dharana Shakti. In Ashtanga Yoga, you know that it is like Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Ishvara Pranidhana, like that it goes. Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyanam, Samadhi. Dharana is the power to hold the message of the Master. That is why in the Veda, when you learn the Veda traditionally, not by reading books, when you learning the Veda by reading books is like, as I said, riding the boat on the road. When you learn the Veda from a master traditionally, there is a prayer, a one sentence prayer. Mayyeva mayishrutam. Whatever I have listened to from the Master should be with me always, untainted. That is called Dharana Shakti. Arjuna did not have that. And many masters, even great speakers like Osho Rajneesh, have gone wrong in depicting the Gita in the right context. Osho Rajneesh in his commentary, I remember he says that Sanjaya had clairvoyance and television. No, it was not so. Sanjaya, Mahabharata clearly says this. Sanjaya went to the battlefield. He witnessed it. He was an eyewitness to the battle and the conversation, everything. He went and he reported. He was in fact a journalist, you can say that. He reported it from the war scene and came back. On the 10th day, the mighty warrior Bhishma fell on the ground. Then he turns back and comes to Dhritarashtra and reports everything. And the beauty of Bhagavad Gita is this, that Veda Vyasa's own offsprings are in sorrow. They are fighting each other. And Veda Vyasa writes the history. And you know what? Veda Vyasa in the Mahabharata says, Veda Vyasa himself comes to the Dhritarashtra's court and listens to what Sanjaya has to say about the war. So now, my question is this. Did Krishna advise Arjuna, who could not keep the message with him for many days, he forgot completely, or did Krishna gave the instruction really to Sanjaya, who could report every detail, every minute detail with precision to Dhritarashtra? Who was the real disciple in Mahabharata? Was it Arjuna or Sanjaya? I would say it was Sanjaya. Not only me, if you read Mahabharata between the lines, you would come to know that Krishna's message was to Sanjaya. Not only that, Krishna's message was to Vyasa, whose offsprings are fighting in the battlefield. Think about this. This is the importance of historical context while reading a spiritual text. If you miss that point, you would miss the entire message of the Gita. Dharma kshetre. What is it? It is a test of dharma, righteousness. Barely translated like that, but it is not the correct translation of the word. Dharma means abhyuday nishreyasa hetu. Dharma helps you achieve material prosperity. Dharma helps you achieve nishreyasa, complete annihilation of sorrow. But now what is happening in the battlefield? In the battlefield, Duryodhana, the opponent king, says, aparyaptam tadasmakam balam. You see, Krishna gave his entire akshauhini, his entire troops to Duryodhana, but even then Duryodhana is sad that he might face defeat. So he goes to Drona, he goes to Kripa, he goes to every person there is. He goes to Drona and says, our job is to protect Bhishma Acharya. See that? Because our army is insufficient. Aparyaptam tadasmakam balam. See, even after Duryodhana's army is much bigger and stronger than Pandava army, but still Duryodhana feels that he would face defeat. Why is that so? Because he has lost dharma inside him. He knows that he is on the part of adharma. So he, inside his mind, he knows that he would definitely eat dust. So then he tells Drona that aparyaptam tadasmakam balam, our strength is not sufficient to face the army of Pandavas. Paryaptam tudameshetam balam bhimabhirakshitam aparyaptam tadasmakam balam bhishmabhirakshitam. See, who is the chief commandant of the Kaurava army? That is Bhishma Acharya, the greatest warrior in the world at that time. Who is the protector? Who is the chief commandant of Pandava army? Drishtadyumna. And why does Duryodhana choose to say that our army is protected by Bhishma, which is correct, and their army, Pandava army, which is protected by Bhima? Isn't it a contradiction? Doesn't Duryodhana know that Pandava army is protected and commanded by Drishtadyumna? He knows. But why does he mention the name of Bhima there? Why does Duryodhana set Bhima against Bhishma? For that you should know the history, the text, the context of the Bhagavad Gita, which is the Mahabharata. From childhood onwards, Duryodhana's only worry, we can say that pet enemy or bête noire is Bhima. Because of his might and his daring nature, Bhima, inside the mind of Duryodhana, Bhima is the real opponent for him. So unknowingly, slip of tongue, unknowingly he says that aparyaptam tadasmakam balam bhishmabhirakshitam paryaptam tudameshetam balam bhimabhirakshitam. It was a slip of tongue. It was a piece of his mental feeling that Bhima would destroy him. Bhima would kill him. It is like a deer feeling that my enemy is tiger or my enemy is the lion. It is natural. Duryodhana knows that my pride will be beaten into pulp by Bhima. You see, you read the Mahabharata, how many Kauravas were beaten into pulp and killed by Bhima. So Bhima is the real opponent of Duryodhana because of the fear. He says that my army or our army is not sufficient to face the destruction that might be caused by Bhima. See that? To know this, you should read the Mahabharata. And then what? I said the divine charioteer, the charioteer of the minds of all the beings in the world, Lord Krishna is the charioteer in the war field. Arjuna was a little egoistic in the beginning. He says, Krishna, take the chariot to the middle of both armies. Let me see who has come here to fight against the world's best warrior, Arjuna. Let me see that. Krishna, take the chariot. Just as an owner of the car commands the driver to do so. Krishna, the all-knowing, omniscient God, the happy, joyful God, not the sorrowful God. In Osho's biography, Osho and the other kids were playing in front of a church, a Christian church, a Catholic one indeed. And then the priest came out, and Osho was just barely 7 years old, and told him to come inside the church and pray. And Osho said, I need not pray, I am happy. See, it's a very simple statement. A happy man need not pray. A happy man is happy, and he has no worries, and he need not gain anything from the God. And the church priest told him, but still, my dear son, you can come inside the church and pray to Lord Jesus Christ. And the boy went in. After 10 minutes, the boy came out so sad. And the priest said, why are you sad? Osho said, my dear priest, I was so happy playing with kids. You invited me into the church, and I saw the most sorrowful man on earth now, hanging there. How can I be happy again? So our Lord Krishna is not a sad, sorrowful God. Our Lord Krishna is the most joyful God, even in the battlefield. Vyasacharya chose the context of the Upadesha in a war field, in a war front, not in the forest fastness, not in the forest, not in the mountain range, where Upanishadic teachings were held. Gita's speciality is that it is a rose that blossomed just at the tip of a gun. That is the greatness of Gita. And now, the message is not given to Arjuna, because Arjuna was not a disciple at all. Arjuna has even got the divine vision of Vishwarupa Sandarishana Yoga. In the Vishwarupa Sandarishana Yoga, the 11th chapter of the Gita, you can see that Arjuna is given the great vision of the Lord. Even that he forgot. He is not a fitting disciple. And who was the person who could completely, word by word, inch by inch, point by point, remember it? That was Sanjaya. Sanjaya saw and listened to every detail of the war field and came and reported it to even the author of the great epic Vedavyasa and Dhritarashtra. And we see that Dhritarashtra was sorrowful because Bhishma, who was the sole protector, why was Dhritarashtra so unhappy at the news of Bhishma's fall? It is not unnatural. It is expected, because Dhritarashtra knows that his children, including Duryodhana, are on the wrong track and they would meet defeat. If at all they come alive, if at all they come back alive, it should be, and it is, and it would be because of only one man, and that is Bhishma. And Bhishma fell on the 10th day. And now who is to look up to? Bhishma's fall clearly gave the message of complete destruction, total defeat to Dhritarashtra. Therefore, he was so unhappy, sorrowful. To a sorrowful, thinking, melancholic, depressive Dhritarashtra, Sanjaya comes with the message of the entire war field, including the Upadesha by Sri Krishna Paramatma. Who is the best receiver of the message? Sanjaya. Who is the best listener of the message? Dhritarashtra indeed, because only the sorrowful, the thoughtful, the depressive, the melancholic needs consolation. Gita's counsel is to the sorrowful man of the modern day. So many preachers, so many Gita teachers, even sannyasin say that you are all Arjuna and Krishna is giving you the message. You are the Arjuna. No, it is not so. You should become either Sanjaya, who is equipoised, who is tranquil, who is a good disciple, who is a charioteer. You should know that. The divine charioteer, Krishna's message, is passed completely without fail to another charioteer, Sanjaya. Sanjaya gets the message and imparts it to the sorrowful Dhritarashtra. So now I would tell you that the mistake in telling that the world is Arjuna is wrong. The world is Arjuna indeed. They come to a lecture, listen to it, go out and forget it. So indeed it is true that we are Arjunas, we forget the message of the Gita or the Veda. You should not be Arjunas, you should be Sanjayas. Because the message was given to Sanjaya completely. Arjuna forgot it. The Mahabharata is proof that Arjuna forgot the message of the Gita and requests again to the Lord Krishna, Krishna, teach me again, I forgot it. And Krishna, like Heraclitus says, no man ever steps into the same river twice, for it is not the same river and he is not the same man. That is it. Indeed, it is important for us to know that Gita gives us the strength to overcome sorrow. And let me just examine one particular sloka. Arjuna asks in the Bhagavad Gita, who is the happiest man in the world? Who is the happiest man in the world? In a war field, in a war front, usually you expect Machiavellian theories to be passed on to the warrior. But it is not the Machiavellian theory that Krishna passed on to Arjuna. What was the answer? What was the reply by the Divine Lord? The Divine Lord said, the Blessed Lord said, Shaknoti haivaya sodhum praksharira vimokshanad kama krodhodbhavam vegam sayukta sasukhi narah. He is the happiest man who has conquered his sensual attachments. Shaknoti haivaya sodhum praksharira vimokshanat. Before shedding this body, before death. If a man chooses to live the dharmic life by controlling his senses, overcoming his emotions, going beyond the sorrow, he is the happiest man. So, indeed, this is why every chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is called Yoga. Arjuna Vishada Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga, Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga. Why is it called Yoga? The only job of Krishna as a master is to make you transcend the sensual, physical level of existence to a transcendental, spiritual level. That is called yoga. So Krishna's message in the Gita is a yoga shastra, which is given by the text. It says Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvada. It was a samvada between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, but the disciple was not Arjuna, it was Sanjaya, who could only take the master's message and keep it and cherish it in the heart and use it wisely to live accordingly and to make life a blossoming lotus. It's important. So many teachers start teaching Gita and they say that you should become Arjuna. But when you read the Mahabharata, you would not choose to become Arjuna, rather you would choose to become Sanjaya, who could keep the message and cherish the message and live accordingly. Dhritarashtra is of course a sorrowful king. He might become a happy man, but he cannot, because you see that the beauty of Vyasa's construction of the entire epic and especially the Bhagavad Gita lies here. Who is reporting to whom? Sanjaya gets every minute detail of the battlefield and reports it impartially. He was an impartial witness. He does not have any personal interest. Though he is almost like an elder brother or a teacher to Pandavas, he does not have any inclination to anybody. His inclination is only to dharma, righteousness. Let righteousness prevail. That is the aim of Bhagavad Gita. And you should know this. So many people say that Yudhishthira is Dharmaputra. Yudhishthira is always hailed as a man who strictly follows dharma. But you see, the irony of the story is so interesting, bewitching. Mahabharata is a bewitching text. No religious historical text in the world can come even near to the greatness and glory and nobility of Mahabharata. And the Bhagavad Gita is enshrined as a lamp of joy, a lamp of dharma inside the text of Mahabharata. You know that Dhritarashtra is blind. He cannot see. Who is a blind man? Amma gives a very nice story. Amma is quick on these sort of short, interesting stories which carry great messages. There was an NCC parade. On the parade ground, the NCC instructor was instructing the cadets so many things, and he found that one boy was missing one button here. He did not do the button. The button was missing, and the commandant shouted, "Hey, you there! Put your buttons right." And the boy just laughed. Again, the commandant said, "Yeah, boy there, do your buttons. Your button is missing." Third time, he was furious. Why is the boy laughing? And then suddenly the boy walked to the commandant and did his button. The commandant could not see that he missed the button here, and he was complaining the other person, and such a person is a blind person. If you look at others' mistakes alone, if your eye can find out the mistakes of others alone, you are also blind. Just as Dhritarashtra was dharmically blind. He could not see the goodness of others. He did not tell his own son, "Hey, why should you unnecessarily make a fight? You are all siblings anyway. You are in a family. You can give them a house at least to live together." All of them. But he did not say that because he was blind. He was dharmically blind. Dhritarashtra was dharmically blind. Physically also he was blind. And Sanjaya could see every detail. Sanjaya had a very good vision, and he could hear, see. He comes back and details everything to the blind man. And you should know one thing. The way you smell a rose flower and the way you enjoy the fragrance is different from that of a blind man. If you give a flower to a blind man, his enjoyment will be 100-fold. If you give a rose, if you offer a rose to a blind man, his enjoyment of the fragrance will be 100-fold because he is blind. He mentally takes out the details very, very keenly. So here Dhritarashtra is listening to the fall of Bhishma. Can you ever imagine the weight of sorrow that Dhritarashtra's parental heart was having at that time when Sanjaya reports it? Sanjaya saw that Bhishma fell. Sanjaya was also sorrowful because Bhishma is Pitamaha to everyone. But when he came back and reports it to the blind man, blind and bound by attachment to his son, Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra's sorrow is incomparable. He was in the deep ocean of sorrow and misery because his mind takes everything 100-fold. So it's important to know the historical context. Don't you think so? It's very, very important that if at all you are trying to learn the Bhagavad Gita, you must listen to the historical context properly. Go hit the Mahabharata, hit the book, read it and come back. And then learn the Gita, not otherwise. The mistake we are committing is you take the text of Gita and start reading and you don't understand anything. You think you understand but you don't. It's important. Every word of Vyasa carries such historical importance. That is why I am insisting upon reading the Mahabharata before you start reading the Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna says, Shaknoti haivaya sotum prak sharira vimokshanat kama krodhodbhavam vegam sayukta sasukhi nara. Why is Dhritarashtra unhappy? Because he could not forget the attachment. He could not go beyond the attachment to his adharmic son Duryodhana. Attachment made him a blind man. He was a blind man by birth and also a blind man by attachment. So he is not happy. Why is Sanjaya happy? Because he has no attachments. He has transcended that by listening to the glorious words of the Bhagavan Shri Krishna Paramatma. So it's important for us to know this. So Gita's message is not to fight a war. You know what? After the 10th day, after the fall of Bhishma, the war became so furious because the Kaurava army became so frantic. They were smelling failure everywhere in the battlefield. So they just randomly started attacking everyone and killed so many. Familial fight. It was a sibling rivalry indeed. And one night, Karna took up the chief commandant ship or the leadership of the army after the fall of Drona. And Karna was attacking everyone. Karna was the best warrior in the world. And on a day when Krishna saw that Karna was attacking so many people, he was doing Chitravadha. He was not killing people. He was just harassing them to near-death experiences and then leaving them alive. And leaving them alive makes them even more hurt because they were not killed. Karna could have killed them, but he made Chitravadha. One such day, Yudhishthira was attacked like that, Chitravadha. Yudhishthira came back to their barrack and had an argument with Arjuna. Yudhishthira asked Arjuna, Arjuna, did you kill Karna? Arjuna said, no, I didn't. Then Yudhishthira became furious and said, now you do one thing, you put down your arms and go for some other work. If you cannot kill Karna. Arjuna stood up and took the Gandivam in his hands and said, now fight with me, brother, elder brother, fight with me and show that you are a man. And there was a big verbal altercation, argument between the two. And do you see that? A brother is taking up arms against another brother. And what is the meaning of all this fight? Mahabharata, Vyasa clearly shows that all these verbal or non-verbal armed fight are just futile. It kills minds, not bodies. It kills generations, not human beings. So that is why Krishna says, if at all in this warfield a man is there who listens to my message and transcends his ego before his death, he would be the happiest man. And this is the message of the Bhagavad Gita. My dear friends, meet you another day with another strong message from the Hindu scriptures. Thank you very much for listening to me. Hara Namah Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadeva.